Good evening, it's Friday the 18th of November and it's time for the news on RIK 2. President Anastasiades has begun briefing political parties on the current state of play in negotiations with Mustafa Kemal in light of the second Mont Pelerin round on Sunday, focusing on territorial adjustments, one of the thorniest aspects of the settlement effort. The President will see all leaders of parliamentary parties separately, concluding tomorrow, prior to his departure for Switzerland. In an address last night, the President expressed the hope that outstanding differences on the criteria of territorial adjustments will be overcome, leading to an exchange of maps between the two sides. The Greek Cypriot position is that criteria must first be codified into territory percentages on maps before any talk of a multilateral conference on security and guarantees. President Anastasiades appealed to everyone to place the good of the country above all else, particularly calling on the media to be accurate on their reporting of Cyprus issue negotiations. Any distortion of reality, he stressed, will result in propaganda and not facts, misleading people into making the wrong decision. These are crucial times, he said, and everyone has an historic role to play, including journalists. The Cyprus issue was discussed in an extraordinary all-day session of Parliament that began in the morning and lasted more than 10 hours. Leaders of parliamentary parties spoke twice in the morning and afternoon sessions, putting forward their views on the prospects of the ongoing process. Ruling party DC leader Averof Neofidou stressed that the strategic goal of the settlement of the Cyprus issue is establishing human rights, basic freedoms and European principles. Neofidou expressed the conviction that through the intensified negotiation it is now visible that a great improvement can be achieved and the 1960 guarantees will be done away with. Opposition left-wing AGEL leader Andros Kyprianou said that progress has been reached because the convergences achieved between former President Christofias and the Turkish Cypriot leader have been utilized by President Anastasiades and Mustafa Kemal. Kyprianou stressed that the three basic freedoms, movement, settlement and purchase of property, have been achieved, while Turkey has committed to taking over the occupied territories' incurred debt, estimated at €17 billion. The most scathing attack against the Anastasiades strategy on the Cyprus issue was launched by centre-wing PIK President Nicos Papadopoulos, who claimed that the solution being negotiated will turn the administration of a federal Cyprus into a casino bazaar, as every decision will require the approval of both communities and will require a give-and-take process. He further claimed that under this structure, the state will collapse in mere months. There is a real opportunity for further progress at the upcoming second round of Anastasiades' AKNG negotiations at Mont Pelerin, said British High Commissioner in NICOSIA Matthew Kidd. Following talks with President Anastasiades, he noted that such a progress will pave the way towards a multilateral conference that would be possible to convene even before the end of the year. Commenting on Britain's role in the eventuality of a multilateral Cyprus issue conference, Matthew Kidd expressed his country's readiness to support the process. He expressed the hope that the conference will go ahead, adding that London expected the leaders of the two communities to point to the role that his country could play in order for its contribution to be as positive as possible. Responding to the question on whether he believes that President Anastasiades has started to look into the prospect of a multilateral conference, the British High Commissioner said that for the time being the President is focusing on the current phase of negotiations, resuming on Sunday in Switzerland. US President Barack Obama and European leaders underscored the importance of working together in NATO and chided Russia for its bombing of Syria and failure to implement a Ukrainian peace accord. The White House statement followed a meeting at which Obama sought to reassure his counterparts from Germany, Britain, Spain, Italy and France that his successor Donald Trump would not break up the transatlantic alliance. Trump raised concerns during the campaign when he said he could withhold military aid from NATO allies if they had not met their defense commitments, and said he would forge closer ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The leaders agreed on the need to work together to stabilize the Middle East and North Africa, as well as securing diplomatic resolutions for the conflicts in Syria and eastern Ukraine. Europe launched 4 more Galileo satellites yesterday, moving a step closer to having its own navigation system and marking the first time it has sent up so many satellites at once. The satellites will be part of the European Union's alternative to the US Global Positioning System, or GPS. The launch brings the number of Galileo satellites in orbit to 18 of a planned total of 30, according to the European Space Agency. The satellites weigh about 700 kilograms and are equipped with antennae and sensors and powered by 2 5-square-meter solar wings. Since the EU decided to go ahead with Galileo 16 years ago, the program has suffered some setbacks, including delays, financing problems, 2 satellites being put into the wrong orbit, and questions about whether Europe really needs a rival system to GPS. Now for the weather. Clear skies initially tomorrow, later turning increasingly overcast. Winds will be light to moderate, easterly to northeasterly, force 3 to 4, and in windward regions, strong force 5 over moderate seas. Temperatures will reach 23 Celsius inland and in western coastal regions, 25 in the rest of the coastal areas, and 13 over the mountains. The fire hazard remains high